It's good to see you guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. And right
Thank
off the
you.
bat, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, Junior Matsila Melisizwe Plaki are the members of the Sun Quintet. Or should I be saying SUN Quintet?
No, Sun Quintet is fine. Sun Quintet is fine, Dr. Mo.
Because that's when it struck me. I was going like, okay, what's the Sun Quintet? What's the sun? What's the significance of the sun in the name? Maybe you guys can talk a little bit about that just as we start.
Yeah. Open.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically the way so all of us met at Stellenbosch University, and at the time when we like kind of started the group, we weren't performing under the name Sun Quintet. Like it would always be like I don't know, some like the Stellenbosch ensemble or something like
Mm.
um that they were giving us just for like corporate events that were happening at the university. But then we really liked like the sound we had and just the connection between us as musicians. And when we decided to start a band, we wanted to get a name that kind of would help us break away from being like directly connected to the university, but sort of slightly, have that affiliation. And we thought like, I think Mark Lynch came up with the name, who's our saxophonist, when we were talking the one day, and it was like Sun Quintet. And yeah, it came up as a great name to also like be our own project, our own thing that's also separated from the university, but people still kind of relate us to the institution that we're from. So that's how the name came about.
Huh, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's Junior there. So tell us a little bit more. I mean, you already have started in terms of the concept behind the Sun Quintet. So if someone didn't know and hasn't been paying attention for the last year, how would you, each of you, maybe introducing yourselves first, and then who else is in the Sun Quintet?
Okay, greetings. So I am Melisizwe Zeplaki, the pianist of Sun Quintet. And then with me in the meeting is Aubrey Matsila, our trombonist. And then we have Mark Lynch on saxophones, Stuart Martin on drums, and Dylan Cornelius on bass. And as Aubrey mentioned, everything started here at Stellenbosch University.
Yeah, cool. And what is the concept of Sun Quintet? I mean, like many music experiences, they actually start with a particular idea. Um, for you guys, what was the uh, exploding uh, seed that effectively then said, actually, we are absolutely doing this? Take us through your guys' journey around how
Um,
you got to be sitting here in front of me, winning an
so
award, like two, even not even one.
yeah, so I would think the main thing was that we wanted to play our original music. We were all writing, and we had a serious interest in performing our own music and eventually recording the album. So I think that was the main driving force behind the band as a whole. So Sun Quintet, like Aubrey mentioned, before we were Sun Quintet, we were doing corporate gigs and playing music that people knew, etc. But then we sort of formed our own sound and through our own compositions. I think that's the main concept behind it, and then everything just kicked off from there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anything to add, Junior?
Yeah, no, I think Melly has encapsulated the whole way we started. The main, like you said, the main driving force was, yes, we have our own music written. It was like now we need to create a platform so that we can get it out to the world. And yeah, it's been an incredible journey ever since. I think it was December 2022 when we met and we were like, we should start this project. And then we had our first official gig as Sun Quintet in August of 2023 at a venue in Stellenbosch called the Johnman Concerts. And then yeah, from there, that's when we got the ball rolling.
Yeah, you're on Jazz and Voga. We are chilling to jazz as we wrap your week up on a jazzy note. And I have Junior Matsila as well as Melissa Zeplaki, who are two of the members of the Sun Quintet that recently just won. What were the awards you won? Best song?
Best
Okay, let me not
best
get it
jazz
wrong.
song, best jazz song, which is Makatini, and then best jazz album, Embrace the Path.
Embrace the Path. So we'll talk about the album as well, Embrace the Path. I love that name. But let's go to the best song. So I want to play the song that won the best jazz song, Makatini. Tell us a little bit more about that song. What's the story there?
So in 2018, um, two of the group members, me and Mark Lynch, the saxophonist, we Dr. Duduzo Makatini came to do a masterclass here at Stellenbosch University, just workshopping tunes, how our roles in the band, and just music related things and ensemble related things. And then this the main theme of Makatini, he presented that theme in the workshop, right? And then after that, he was like he gifted us the melodies, like you can build on this, and that's how uh, Makatini came. So we actually named it to how can I say um,
In terms of
to,
honoring and yeah,
yeah, sort of that experience and that master, everything that came from that day. Yeah. So
yeah.
that's how Makatini came about, and then we just added a B section, and we Sun Quinteted it.
Yes. You are on Jazz and Bruga, and here is Makatini. We'll be back.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Right, my people, I hope you're having a fantastic evening. And I am hanging out here with the members of the Sun Quintet who have recently won the Mzantsi Jazz Awards, Best Jazz Song, as well as um, I'm a Best Jazz Album. And these were public categories, right? So I want to go back a little bit. When we were having a conversation earlier, Melissa, I think one of the things um, that that hit me was that I've never really thought about the University of Stellenbosch as a center for jazz at all. Why do I have a feeling you are the first people to come out of SUN that are actually doing jazz?
Mm.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Just to jump in quickly. So I'm the first undergraduate jazz student at Stellenbosch University.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I'm postgraduate now, but I mean, at the time I was the first undergraduate student there, under the guidance of Ramon Alexander, who's also a Cape jazz pianist. Yeah, South African jazz pianist, well known. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so it started in 2020, and then it's still building, but there is a presence of jazz at Stellenbosch University. Um, and
Yes.
and yeah, we people always react this way because really it's not as prominent
Yes.
as the other institutions, but I mean it's building from the ground, and I think it's on its way to something great.
Yeah, at this rate with you guys and the work that you're doing, it sounds like you're actually doing the university a good stead already. So well done. So,
Thank you.
a quick question here. I think when you look then at the education, I mean, let's go there for 2 seconds. You guys have decided to go and study jazz. Why study music at all? Because there's no money in music. Why are you guys
Mm.
doing that? Why did you guys put yourself through all of that?
I think Melly would be the better one to answer because actually I'm studying a geosciences degree. I'm doing a BSc, but uh, the other guys
Okay.
are studying music at the conserve. So maybe he can give you his
Yeah, but
perspective.
I want to hear your perspective as well, because that's also quite different, right?
Mm, yeah.
The fact that they're studying music, you are not, and I'm curious about also why is that? So let's start with you, Mehdi. Why did you go and do music? As far as I know, uh, akunamali kulaa nto.
um, to be honest, once I started with music, I didn't see myself doing anything else. So that was the natural step for me. And I trusted, and I'm still trusting the process that it's eventually going to work out. Like
Yes,
anything in life, nothing is guaranteed, right? But
yes.
we sort of have to take these chances and basically just jump basically. So I was there's nothing else I would rather do. Let me put it like that. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
yeah,
studying. Yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like it's my path.
yeah. And tell us a little bit about how did you know? How did you know that this is your path? Because that sounds quite definite, right? Where does this passion come from? How do you even know?
Um, for me, it's I have this strong belief within me that I can't necessarily explain to other people and maybe even convince. Not that I need to, but when something is within you, you sort of just know, right? So I think it's based off that, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, that's what
So
I would
it's
say.
just something. It's just an inner knowing. It's interesting. We're talking about Duduza Makatini, and his the album that actually won the Mzantsi Jazz Awards in 2018 was Inner Knowing. So you had like this
Mm,
inner knowing that actually told you a little bit
correct,
of that. That makes sense.
correct.
And then for you, Aubrey, what's the story? I mean, you're supposed to be this scientist, Geo, Geo, what are you doing on our things?
You know what?
Yeah. No, I think when I was in grade 5 already, like before I encountered music for the first time, I had an interest in like natural disasters and stuff like that, like earthquakes.
Yeah,
And for some reason,
yes,
it was just really interesting for me. So from then I knew that okay, maybe in the future I want to go somewhere along this path. But then when I got to grade 8, when I started playing at Parktown Boys, that's when I think it was the first time I encountered a trombone because initially I wanted to play snare in the marching band. Then they were like, they don't have snares, here's a trombone. And then naturally I just fell in love with the instrument. And uh, one of my biggest fears was after the 5 years of high school was if I'm doing this geoscience degree, like what's going to happen with, the music? Because I didn't want to stop because I fell in love with the instrument, the sound, and. So when I got to Stellenbosch, that was actually something that I'm very grateful for the people I met there, the journey that helps to grow my music career and also develop me as a musician, especially learning from other musicians and even not being a student. I feel like um, even I feel like I've gained a lot more music wise from like Melly and Mark and all these other great musicians in the conserve and Ramon Alexander that have really developed my playing and just approach to jazz. So yeah, that's how I still continue to push both sides of the science side and the music. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and we'll talk a little bit about how for many people there's also that merging of careers, because I think in many ways in music it almost in the creative sector in general it almost feels like how um, as a musician uh, sometimes you actually have to do something else um, because you can't actually make money from music or you can't live through the music. So we'll explore a little bit of that dynamic. You're on Jazz on Vlog and featured into jazz as we wrap your week up on a jazzy note. And I am with Junior Matsila as well as Meli Plaki, Melisizwe, who are the members of the Sun Quintet who have recently just won the Mzantsi Jazz Awards as one but there is another award that I think you guys have won, but we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's go to the album. Embrace the Path is the album that they have. What we've been playing on the show. And I think it's on the South African Jazz Top 20. I'm not sure where it is on the top 20. It's probably somewhere in the top 10. We've been playing Brafea. What's the story of Brafea? I want to play that.
Okay, so Brafea is Utampo, so my dad's brother. He basically, the story behind the tune was that he asked me, funny enough, he asked me what I'm going to study. And then I told him I'm going to study music, right? And as you've mentioned before, there are a lot of alarms going off or when someone says they want to study music or anything arts related,
yes,
right?
yes.
So I definitely, it's not the first time I've heard that. So, but what took me by surprise with our conversation, he asked me, do I love what I'm going to do? Do I love music? Right. So I didn't have an answer to that because I already have my premeditated answers to people who ask me why I am studying music, right? Or why I want to study music. But I didn't have an answer for him. But I told him, yes, I enjoy it. And then he said, there will always be a way forward. Doors will always open. There will always be your journey will always be secured type of thing. There will always be a way forward. There will always be something there if you love something, if you love what you do. Basically, so he was basically encouraging me, saying that if I'm doing what I love, there will always be opportunities or whatever the case may be.
Why am I hearing embrace the path? I'm just here is Brafea. We'll be back.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
Views.
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
Sports.
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
And music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station. The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is a professional development center for professionals who aim to improve their professional standing. This means that the learning programs we run are more than just academic programs. They are work-based programs that focus on leveraging your current experience as a professional to build your overall profile. A year down the line, the Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is developing into a preferred center for professional development in Pretoria, with 8 professional development faculties including accounting, teaching, entrepreneurship, as well as IT and many more. For more information, go to acwbl.org or dial +27 12 751 7608. The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning, where work is learning.
My people, we continue to explore the beauty of South African jazz. In the last few weeks, we have been celebrating some of the musicians that continuously we recognize, but mostly are recognized by the public, as this gentleman that I have in the room today have, because you guys actually won both public categories, which says something about the reception of the album. So maybe let me ask this question in two parts. When you look at the state of South African jazz right now, what would you say is happening there? What do you see from your viewpoint? And it could be each of you can share your perspective. I'm curious.
Oh, you go for it.
Okay, I think what especially today, I think we're seeing more of a, I don't want to call it like a youthful movement, but a lot more younger people coming into the scene and really changing the South African jazz sound also. I can mention people like Kujenga or Ipupo Lakabiko, like these big young ensembles that are really introducing new approaches to the music. And I think it's very good for the development of jazz in South Africa and also generally for the youth, because there's also this notion that jazz is mostly for like older generations. And, and I feel like when other like our peers see that like we're doing this jazz thing and it's actually pushing the jazz scene in a different direction in a way in South Africa, then it also motivates or also gets other youth, other like our peers and youth people to get onto jazz. Because yeah, I think basically breaking those boundaries that jazz is only for the older generations. So yeah, I think there's a good thing happening in the jazz scene right now, and also we're seeing a lot more projects being released, which is something also that was very rare within jazz. We would have like maybe few albums a year, but now there's a lot more, especially like if I just look at 2024, we have Linda Skakane and Duduzo Makatini, Malcolm Gianni, all these new projects that came out in 1 year. So I think we're really heading in the right direction. So yeah.
Sounds good. What about you, Melly?
I'll echo what Obi said, exactly that. There's there's a lot happening in terms of the younger cats, like we would say. We are taking more the space. We are able to make our voice be heard in these spaces where we have the guts to put our music forward and just to explore that direction of this music genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also then leads me to something interesting, right? But before I do, just a response. I mean, I don't know who came up with this whole idea that jazz was for old people. I don't really know who came up with it. It's just such a funny thing, because if you look at the history for as long as you go, for as far back you go in jazz, from your Miles Davises, your John Coltrane's, and everybody, all of them were very young, and which meant the music was essentially played by the young cats who essentially were exploring, right? And then you look in South Africa continuously, Moses Mlalekwa, and all of those guys. Everybody has been very young, so it's just been interesting. But I'm glad, because with the MJA, since we started in 2017, we've actually been seeing 85% of people who actually submit music for the awards are actually under 35, which again confirms jazz is a young genre. It's young music. The question though is, who is listening to you here? Who is saying they're listening to you?
Really?
Who is listening to us?
Yeah. It's listening to Sun Quintet, right now? Do you have an idea?
I have no idea actually, but I do know that people are listening. Like, yeah, as people we know, there are
Yeah,
people I know who listen to the music, like our peers
Yes.
and people who share the things online.
mm,
But as far as the wider spectrum, I have no
yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
But the
Just
music is out there because we never know, really never know where the music goes.
yeah,
Since
just
because we live in this internet age, so the music could literally be anywhere.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
so you
to
wanted to
add on
say
that.
something, Chief?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was saying to Alan that I was actually looking at the demographics about 2, 3 days ago, and there's like this platform that allows you to see like where people are listening to, and obviously majority is South African, and you can see the age they range, which I think for us majority range from like 17 to around 45 somewhere there. That was the predominant
Yeah.
age
Yeah.
range,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also you can see like we have a lot of people like on that on the software that shows all this data. There's like people in Korea and America and the UK are like the three other
Yeah.
countries where people are checking the music out. So I think yeah,
Yeah.
definitely the music is spreading throughout the world. So yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things I was at the Chicago Jazz Festival at the beginning of the year, around April, March, I think, when it was happening, which was kind of crazy. One thing about the Americans, they love their jazz. But one of the things I've noticed ever since I started this and traveling across the world, it's almost like I've become an ambassador of South African jazz in those spaces. People love our music. People
Mm,
love South African jazz. And I think you guys have probably come across Tembele Junjana's
yeah.
work, and when she won, and then we took her to New
Mm.
York, and then she started performing there, managed to record us a sophomore album. Everybody's just crazy about the music. And I'm hoping there's a lot of that also happens with you guys. So, however, one question, and I think we'll start wrapping up. Just one thing that's interesting, uh, because when people hear that you're in music, right? Uh, People would be generally when I was growing up. So I don't know in your ear. When I was growing up, when someone is in music, they go, "Oh, they're sexy." Girls throw themselves at you, and it's just sexy for you.
I think Melly can answer that one.
Um, what's the question?
Yes. Do you have what's the response of the girls or whatever that throwing themselves at you? It's just sexy for you.
um, I mean,
Blushing.
people relate to the music, I would say. Yeah, so I would agree, yes. But I mean, for me, it's just a music thing. I don't really pay attention to that. So
Yeah.
I'm solely there for the music. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know what Aubrey would say.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think the same thing. Like, yes, all of this stuff comes with, the music and stuff, but I think the main mission that we're on is to get the music out there and use it as a tool of healing and just joy for the people. So everything else that comes with it, yeah, it's on the outside for us.
Listen to you. Listen to you. So humble. You also won another award, if I'm not mistaken. I think before the Mzantsi Jazz Awards. What was that? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Mm. So that's the Stellenbosch University Ensemble Competition,
Ah, okay.
2023. Yeah. So it happens here in Stellenbosch at the Engle at the
Yeah.
Conservatorium. So we won the jazz category and the overall competition of 2023. Right? So which helped us to record Embrace the Path. So
Nice.
what we won, they funded our recording. So it funded everything from recording to mixing, mastering to the artwork to everything. Right. So
Yes.
yeah, we've been wanting to record, but it's an expensive exercise, as we all know.
Yeah.
So that competition was really it for us.
Yeah, you are on Jazz and Booga. We're chilling to jazz as we wrap your week up on a jazz note. I'm hanging out with the members of the Sun Quintet, and we're just about to wrap up. But I need to play another song from Embrace the Path. When we come back, we talk a little bit about the album and where to now for you guys. But what song can I play? I want to play song number 3 from another song from the album.
Oh,
I think probably Asive.
I see you there. Okay, cool. And you want to say a little bit of something about that?
so Asive is a tune I wrote. Yeah, it's dedicated to my late friend who we lost in COVID. Right. So the song is basically describing that situation of, because I wasn't able to attend his funeral, so it captures all those emotions that were running through me at the time.
Yeah. You're on Jazz Vula. Asive. Oh, I should be saying, let's hear Asive.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is a professional development center for professionals who aim to improve their professional standing. This means that the learning programs we run are more than just academic programs. They are work-based programs that focus on leveraging your current experience as a professional to build your overall profile. A year down the line, the Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is developing into a preferred center for professional development in Pretoria, with 8 professional development faculties including accounting, teaching, entrepreneurship, as well as IT and many more. For more information, go to acwbl.org or dial +27 12 751 7608. The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning, where work is learning.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
Mzantsi Jazz, some really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Emery Remington, A.B. Conant, Joseph Alessi, Melba Liston are some of the leading lights of music in Liston. Melba Liston particularly was the first woman trombonist to play in big bands in the 1940s. Played with Dizzy, John Coltrane, and Basie, and Billie Holiday. Who are your heroes? Who are your influencers? So let's start with you. Who influenced this trombone thing? I know you wanted to do the snare, which also is a very weird choice. Who are your influences in terms of that?
Yeah, I think obviously the main would be Jonas Gwangwa. Because even on the album we have a song called JG's Legacy, which I wrote, which is dedicated to him. So that JG stands for Ubab Jonas Gwangwa. So yeah, I think trombone wise it would be him. Trombonist from America named Jeff Bradshaw has a very beautiful, soulful sound. Trombone shorty, of course. JJ Johnson. I think that's everyone inspiration who plays trombone. So yeah, I think trombone wise, those are like my favorites, my main inspirations. So yeah.
Sounds good. And you, Manny?
For me, it's Mr. African Kize, pianist. Yeah, I
It's
first heard him
crazy, eh?
at the 2017 Glam Sound Festival in the Youth Jazz Festival. So after that, I was hooked, playing and just everything about him. Yeah. So I would definitely say South African Kize and then Babu Begum Sileko as well.
Yeah, so those are some of the giants, right? Of the music. So in many ways, you guys are carrying the legacy of a lot of what has been happening. Someone listening right now thinking, "Oh, I want to start a band. I want to also get into music. I want to be like you guys." What would be your advice to some of the other people that are listening, as far as getting into music is concerned?
I would say that the music part of it is probably the easiest to do. I would say the the work lies in the teamwork behind everything and everyone's dedication to the same goal. Right? I would say that's Sun Quintet's forte because everyone we had this goal in mind, and then we were all working towards it. We were working every week. We had this goal in mind. So I would say, yes, the music, get your music um, up to standard or whatever the case may be, but also
Get your music
focus on the
right. Yeah.
admin side of things. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Junior, welcome back. So we are talking about someone who is starting, wanting to now start and get into the band as well and start in the music. What would you say? What advice would you give them?
I think it's the commitment that will take you far. I think if you're starting a project, if you are committed to it and you put everything that you have into it and what you want to achieve as a band or a musician, you will get to where you want to be. I think it's just about putting in the work and also that belief, because everyone has their belief system. But I think for me and most of the guys in the band as Christians, I think it works together. That the belief and the hard work that you put in will get you to where you want to see yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. So I'm gonna tap on that for 2 seconds. People keep saying you put on the work, but I don't know what putting on the work uh, looks like. Is it just like practice at least once a day? What does putting the work look like? How hard is it to do this?
I think especially as a band system, I would attribute it to because there's a lot of things that goes into it, making a band successful, especially marketing and promotion. I think is the heaviest part to get your music out. So, especially with Sun Quintet, as soon as we started the project, we were like planning and organizing gigs at least to try push the music. Like every week we were somewhere, and the more people see your music, the more opportunities can arise from that, and just the growth of yourself as a project and a band. So I think it's just performing, recording, rehearsing, practicing as an individual. And yeah, it's just really pushing your work to the point where like everyone is seeing what you're doing, because that exposure is the one that's going to get you to the next step and the next step, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of the one of the pieces of work that's neglected by many people, right? They will make the music and come up, as you say, Melly, people will make the music and get the music right, but they forget the other environmental stuff, that
Yeah.
hygiene stuff. Wrapping up, so one of the things I'm noticing, which is a big issue in the South African, not an issue, but it is quite an interesting effect of the South African jazz landscape. Junior, you're in Gauteng, you're in Joburg, right? And Melly, you are in the Cape. What are you guys seeing in terms of the differences or the dynamics of music in Cape Town versus the music scene in Johannesburg in this? And I'll share why I'm asking this question, but I'm curious about what you guys notice.
Yeah, I think especially this year where it's like my first year out of high school where I'm able to really experience the scene in Joburg. One major thing that I've realized is the difference in the amount of venues between Cape Town and Joburg, which really impacts the scene itself. Because I mean, in Joburg we have the Orbit closed down, and then it was Leano closed down, and just the shortage of venues compared to in Cape Town. Because especially my time in Stellenbosch, I saw Cape Town is really spoiled with venues. There's like so many in Muizenberg, in town, in Cape Town. There's like a lot happening in the scene, and it's constantly, happening. Whereas in Joburg, we have venues closing down. So I think if that factor can be worked on, especially in Joburg, then I think it will really help the scene itself and musicians performing their music more. And yeah.
Anything different to add, Melly?
Not really, because I'm more from this side. That's why I said Obi must answer, because he's experienced both of the scenes, so he could draw parallels or differences. So like you said, this side there are a lot of venues and the scene is alive.
Yeah. No, let me not keep you longer than you need to, but it's been fantastic having a conversation with you guys. And it's always good. I think for me, what's always exciting about where we are, and I think, Junior, you talked about the music that has come out. This year, we probably have one of the highest years, 2024. We've had one of the largest productions of music. I think about 100 or CDs that actually came out just this year that I know about, which obviously means there's probably twice or three times that's out there. And that is very, very good for South African jazz. So to wrap up, I want to wrap up or close with a song or a number that each of you would like that's not your own. So I'd like to play something that's either driving you crazy right now that you're listening to, or something that's your favorite track. What do I play? Let's start with you, Junior.
For me, I'd probably go for I Play What I Like by Malcolm Gian.
There you go. He is crazy. So you're just picking MJA winners all over the place here.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Benjamin Jafta, I think it's Resurgence, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
On the Born Colored, not Born Free album.
Yeah, I love that album. I love the conversation it has also opened about where we are as a country, because I think generally music is always also about saying something, right? I didn't even ask you why you guys chose the title "Embrace the Path." There's just so much to talk about, but I'm very excited about the work that you guys have put on. Congratulations on getting this far. I'm looking forward to seeing what else you guys can do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us on the show. It's really is a pleasure to be on this platform.
No, my pleasure. And that was the conversation there with Melissa Zeplaki as well as Junior Matsila, who are some of the members of the Sun Quintet. We'll be back after this.